Hello. Welcome to the November 1 mini healing. I just can't believe it's November 1, but I think I say that every month, don't I? How fast things are going. But thank you for spending your Saturday night with me. I am here sitting on my couch with a little dog on each side, and they are resting. So, got a few people here already, so welcome. And so 10 minutes in, we will start with our first healing pulse, and then we will do good grief, brain blank. Then we'll do individual healing, and then in between there we'll do a second healing pulse and a third healing pulse, and then I expect we'll end the night with oh, this is bad that I can't the words just aren't coming, and these are things I sort of know. So we'll end the night with aura strengthening. I guess I should have probably sat for a moment and thought about what I'm going to say, but oh well, we're pretty informal here. So in about 4 minutes, we will start our healing pulse, but I hope everybody is doing well. So today was a beautiful sunny day in northern Minnesota, and I'm going to look to see how warm it got. I'm thinking it might have gotten up to low 40s. Oh, 44. So just a matter of time before we get snow, which for me is a 4-letter word that is not appreciated, but so good to see everybody. Okay, so Ascended Universal, we do things a little bit differently. So maybe watch for a bit and you'll definitely get an individual healing. No worries. So other than that, I'm trying to think if there's anything new. That is okay, Ascending. I'm just glad you're here. We do sometimes I do overall healing for an individual, but most of the time I have you tell me what you want to work on. So we're going to start with a healing pulse in a couple minutes, and at that point I'll tell you a little bit of the basics about what it is and how to do it, because you're going to use your own healing frequencies plus mine, and it's sort of a fun little thing. Not everybody experiences it, but I think a good share of you do. So yeah, so I'm just checking to see if I've got any notations. Sometimes people let me know if they're going to be around. Oh, and there's Anne Marie, who's up in Canada. Rain, wind, and gray sky. Yes, we had that all day yesterday, Anne Marie. So I think it moved up and got you up there. So I just want to welcome everyone. So let's talk a little bit about a healing pulse. So healing pulse is a wonderful form of energy that I created. The nice thing about it, it goes to where you direct it to go. And so with this, like if you're experiencing something physical, like your knee hurts or you banged your elbow or you have a headache, that's where you're going to want to direct the energy. Now, if you feel something emotional or you have anxiety, I want you to think about where does that energy of that emotion or anxiety live? So, like for me, if I'm anxious, it's in the pit of my stomach that I feel something. Or if it's anger or sadness, where does that live? So, the point of this is to find a physical location where you can send the energy. So, let's get started. So, to start, I want you to activate the energy in your hands. And so, you're going to rub your hands together until they're warm. And then I want you to place your hands exactly where you're going to receive the energy. Now, if for some reason you can't reach it, like if it's your lower back or middle back, or it's like your foot, but you can't really reach it, imagine that your hands are there and really work to feel what your hands experience as they're like wrapped around your foot or in the middle of your back. And so place your hands. And then imagine my hands are on yours. So this is how you're getting my frequencies plus yours. And the most important part is just allowing. And so I want you to breathe in that healing energy. So imagine with each breath in, you are allowing the healing to go a little deeper, a little further. With each breath out, you are releasing. Sometimes you're releasing energy that is done, energy that doesn't need to be there, or maybe it's someone else's energy that you picked up through your life. So just imagine the breathing in and allowing it to flow, breathing out and releasing what you no longer need. So just breathe in and breathe out. And if you are a person that gets into breath work, this is a perfect time to practice your breath work. Oftentimes I suggest the box breath, which is a 4-count breath. So you do 4 on breathing in, 4 on holding, 4 on releasing, 4 on holding. And then you just keep going round and round with that. So just allow that energy to flow. So we'll be doing a couple more of these. Most people experience more energy, usually in the second or third pulse. So this is sort of a short, quick healing pulse. And so we're going to move on to individual healing. And so with this, because I know we've got a few new people, usually I ask if you have something specific that you want to work on, you put it in the comments. If you're not really sure, you can just put whatever comes up, and I will be looking for some type of trapped emotion that is contributing to whatever's going on. This part of the mini healing, a lot of this piece is based on the work by Dr. Bradley Nelson, who wrote the book The Emotion Code and has a healing tool called the Body Code, which part of that is the Emotion Code. I'm certified in the Emotion Code. Although I do a lot of work with the Body Code, I didn't see the value in spending a lot of money on their certification program, since I tend to learn a tool and then tweak it so it is most effective for me. So I'm just going to go through the list and just see if anyone has started putting what they want to work on. Okay, sending, that is perfect. And so I'm going to write everything. So this is last month, my little notes for what we worked on. So sending, you're going to be the first on my list. So sending, right shoulder. And then I'm going to continue to go through the list and just make sure I didn't miss anyone, because I have missed people before. So if we get to the end of this section and I didn't say your name, please remind me, because I never want to miss anyone. So Harmonious wants to bring overall abundance. That is very nice, Harmonious. Overall abundance. And Lisa, whenever you're comfortable, if you want to put something in comments, feel free. Serene, healing of stomach. And a tarot. Got healing left side of uterus. Okay. Nancy, nearsightedness. There's Amphatha. Good to see you. So Amphatha has something that I think a lot of people are experiencing right now, a weird sense of angst that comes and goes. And I can't remember what video it was, but Honey C. Golden is talking about the frequencies that are coming in. And I think that's playing a role with you, Amphatha. Lisa. Relationship with adult daughter. Relationships, especially with the generational, there's lots of turmoil. Adult daughter. I agree with you, Vatha. All right, so Anne Marie, if you miss what I say, ask in the comments and I'll repeat it. And if you still miss it, then watch the replay, and I'll try and put in a timestamp, but I don't always remember things like that. But so Anne Marie wants to work on resilience. Okay, Rose Petals. That's a new name. Welcome, Rose Petals. Liver and anger. So I'll look and see if those are connected. And if they are, I'll do them together. Otherwise, I'll pick the one that you need work on the most. Okay, DGZ. Relationship with adult son. Yep, that is just tough. So Infatha asks, am I feeling better? Yes and no. I've been having troubles the last year with headaches. Looking for answers, both using traditional and alternative methods. And they went away for a while, but they came back last week. And so I think this is something energetic that's going on. is, you know how some people get the ringing in the ear? So in my left ear, I've got like a fluttering of energy, and it's not all the time. It's almost like I have a little butterfly, sort of, because it vibrates. And then it stops for a little bit, and then maybe an hour later it'll do it again for a while. So it's sort of crazy, but I know it's something to do with the energies that are coming in. And I think it's my body adjusting to different frequencies. So if things are going on that are new, I think pay attention, because I think a lot of people are experiencing shifts and your body is sort of treating it in different ways. Yes, lots of solar flares, lots of things with, well, there's some AI stuff in there too that's going on. And it's not all negative. Oh, I'm sorry, Anne Marie. But I'm glad you can watch on the replay. Okay, so I think, so let me tell you who's on my list. So if I missed you, we can add you. All right, Ascending wants to work on right shoulder. Harmonious wants to work on overall abundance. Serene wants to work on her stomach. In a tarot, healing left side of uterus. Nancy, nearsightedness. Emphatha, inks, that comes and goes. Lisa, relationship with adult daughter. Anne Marie, resilience. Rose petals, liver and anger. I think it's DQZ, not DG. Let me see what it really is. And then we can get started. Oh my gosh, there's Joan. Joan, how good to see you. So it's DGZ. Okay. All right. So if you have not put something down, that is fine. At any point, you can add something. But as I say, I'm nearing the end of the list. If you haven't said something, put it down. Yes, Joan, it's been forever. All right, so let's get started. So today, I think I'm going to use my little list. So this is sort of a unique list that I've got. So this is a little difference with the emotion code, is I have my own list that I use that I've gotten from various sources. And then I do have a negative emotion list that has like over 400 negative emotions. So we're going to do that. So I'm going to start with harmonious, and we'll see what comes up, because I'm looking for underlying reasons. And especially as you get older, if you don't deal with things, sometimes things accumulate. And so you might not notice a difference with releasing, but I do think if you keep at it and release more and more, eventually things will shift, or something else will come up that you're meant to work on too. So let's see. And if you have any questions, please put in the comments. So sometimes I don't talk about the hows and the whys, just because some of you have been with me forever. So I don't always explain things that in depth every time. All right, so the first one. So these are all about trapped emotions. And generally your body will process and release an emotion, but sometimes it hangs on to it. And that is never a good thing. And so what we're going to do is release it. And so with this, there's generally some type of event around the trapped emotion. And so Ascending, there is an event or a time period when you were about 21. And ages are the hardest thing. So it's around plus or minus a year. So 20, 21, 22. And it's a time where I'm not sure if it was something like an event or maybe someone, but whatever happened was really pessimistic, so super negative. And so many of you in the chat I know are healers. So I'm going to work on releasing, but I've also learned that it helps release if you help too. If you don't have healing in your background, if you do some type of prayer or a wish to source or universal energies that this will release, that also works too, but prayer can be amazing for helping do this. So, ascending, we're going to release the energies of pessimistic around age 21. And so just allow that to release. And then I'll check in and see if the energies have released. And I do get they have. And then I also intend that any voids created are filled with love, light, and healing. All right, Harmonious, you are next. And so let's see what comes up for you. All right, so Harmonious, I've got the energy. Let me just find an age. This is from around age 8. So you were just really little. So 7, 8, 9. And I do find, especially when you're this young, oftentimes it's someone that was around you that you were close to. Because especially when you're so young, a lot of times you don't understand. So the energy is weak. And so I'm going to tune in. We're going to work on releasing and removing the energy of weak. And Harmonious, please help with that also. Okay, I'm getting that released. And then as I do find events and ages for you, let me know if I'm on the mark or if it doesn't quite make sense. And sometimes things don't make sense. But occasionally it will come to you later. It's like, oh, that's when this happened. All right, Serena's next. Serena's got tummy issues, so let's see what comes up with that. And so Serene, if you didn't on the first healing pulse, for the second or the third, I want you to put your hands in your stomach. And the same thing with ascending. You can reach that right shoulder, or imagine you can reach that right shoulder. All right, Serene, I'm getting the energy of condemned. Let me get an age. Kidding, like age 18. That just seems super harsh. So age 18, so somewhere in the range of 17, 18, 19, the energy of condemned. And sometimes when something that strong comes up, I ask if it's yours, because sometimes it can be someone just very close to you. And I'm getting this is yours. So something serious around age 18. So let's go ahead and release condemned. Okay, that did release. So I've got N.A. Tarot and Nancy O. And then I think we'll do our second healing pulse. So N.A. Tarot's got healing left side of uterus. It's the energy of phobic. So let's see. Age. So I'm getting around 23. So 22, 23, 24. So that's for NA Tarot. So let's go ahead and release that. So harmonious, I got weak around age 8, but I think I said a little more. So if you could rewind, that would be great. All right, so I'm getting phobic has released for NA Tarot, and then I've got a new entry for Aaliyah. Hearing. So I'll add you to the list, Aaliyah. And then we're going to do Nancy. And then we're going to do our next healing pulse. And then I'll come back on the list. So Nancy, I've got unmindful. Getting around age 21. So somewhere 20, 21, 22, unmindful. So let's clear that. I do want to comment on NA Tarot. So NA Tarot, so she just came up. She's looking to clear things blocking abundance. And it came up. Oops, nope, I'm on the wrong one. That was harmonious. So it's NA Tarot. So she's like, wow, 23 came up again when I was with my ex-husband. Thank you. And so this time she came up with phobic and 23. And so last time it was despair and like 26. So especially with relationship endings or being sort of tumultuous, that doesn't surprise me. I'm sort of looking to see. And then there was mixed up. This was September 1st, around 23. Headache, shocked at 7. So, but especially if you get multiple types of trapped emotions around the same age, sometimes we're just not processing because of what's going on. And so if you know that when things finally calm down, that would be a good time to look at getting things cleared. So, and Harmonious commented on what came up for her because she had weak around age 8. So her mom was sick during that time and she had to help. Ooh, sounds pretty stressful. And 8, I mean, there's so much you just don't understand, but you feel so much. All right, so Mfatha, we're going to put your son's name. I can't remember your son's name, so tell me what it is, and we will work on that. But we're going to do the healing pulse next. So if your son wants to participate in that, or anyone else that is just observing, they can participate in the healing pulse. So I'm just writing this down so I don't forget. So stomach, bloating, digestive. All right, so when we come back, here's who's on my list. Mfatha, Lisa, Anne-Marie, Rose Petals, DGZ, Aaliyah, and Mfatha's son. So let's do our second healing pulse. Okay, so I'll put Nick down. So with this, especially, I mean, there's quite a few of you that have physical things, because we talked about shoulder, stomach, Nancy, your eyes, and Fatha, this angst. Where are you feeling it? Send the energy to wherever the angst is living. So, and Lisa and DGZ, with relationships, do you feel that on your heart or is it in your head? Is it your mind? Most people, it's their heart. Anne Marie, where does resilience live in you? That drive to change and move forward. Rose petals, liver and anger, especially the anger. Does the anger live in your liver or does it live somewhere else? So Aaliyah, hearing, that's going to be pretty easy. So put your hands on your ears. All right, so rub your hands together and then place your hands exactly where you want to receive the energy. So, and if you've got multiple places, like Infatha says it's all over, but mostly in her gut. So maybe this next one she'll do in her gut, but maybe the third and final one she'll pick somewhere else. And if you don't really have anywhere, sometimes I play around with sending energy to my heart. Sometimes I do like a third eye kind of thing. Or sometimes I do a hand on the front of the third eye and then a hand on the back of the third eye. And that's sort of a cool thing because, the front and the back are connected there with your hands like that. All right, so place your hands. Imagine my hands on yours. And then the most important part is allowing the energy to flow. So just imagine with each breath in, you are allowing the energy to go a little deeper. With each breath out, you are releasing. So welcome, Amy. Jump right into the healing pulse. And just breathe that in. Allowing that healing to relax and your shoulders drop a little because you're not so tense. Just be able to let the energy flow, the healing to flow in, the letting go of what you don't need to hang on to. In and out. Okay, so that is your second healing pulse. We'll do one more, and then we'll end with aura strengthening. Let me know if you felt a big difference between the first and the second, especially those of you who have physical things going on. Sometimes after the healing pulse, get up and walk a little, see if you feel a little looser and if things shifted. If any of you are dealing with pain, sometimes the pain will lessen, sometimes it will move, sometimes it's still the same, which often means that there's more to it than just sending healing energy to the origination of it. Wonderful rose petals. So she said, already feeling calmer. And especially with that feeling calmer, I think it allows when we do the individual healings for that to go a little deeper. All right, so Infatha, you are next. So we're seeing if there's an underlying reason why you're feeling this angst that's coming and going. And I do get a yes. And so what I do is I'm looking to see if there's a trapped emotion that's playing a role in that. So in Fatha, I'm getting around age 9. And it's 8, 9, 10. And it's the energy being mixed up. So now think about it, because a lot of 9-year-olds, they experience things, they feel things, but sometimes when you're close to an adult, it's maybe what they're feeling, but you're so close that it's not yours, it's theirs. And so what we want to do is go ahead and release that, because like with this, I'm not getting this as yours, but there was someone super close to you, so you absorbed it. So let's go ahead and release that. Okay, so that released. Ascended is talking about pain loosening a bit. So that's wonderful. All right, Lisa, you're next. So Lisa wants to work on her relationship with her adult daughter. We're going to use a different list for this. So I'm getting the energy of rage. And so with this, we're working on the relationship, not necessarily Lisa, not necessarily her adult daughter, but somewhere in the energy of the relationship, there is rage. So let me get an age about when this was. When Anne-Marie's talking about the healing pulse, feeling relaxed and tired. So generally you guys will really sleep well tonight. So with rage, so Lisa, I'm going to go by your age. Something from around age 38. So again, ages are hard. So I'm thinking 37, 38, 39. So I don't know if there was some type of event that the main emotion was rage, but focus on taking that out of the relationship from that time period. So releasing and removing rage. Okay, so that release. Anne-Marie, you are next. Anne-Marie wants to work on resilience. So I'm getting the energy of sorrowful. Let me get an age for this. All right, so Amy, I will add you. Let me know if you want to work on something specifically. Let me get an age for Anne-Marie for sorrowful. Getting around age 47, Anne-Marie. So 46, 47, 48, somewhere in there. So let's release that, because I consider sorrowful like sadness times 10. So let's go ahead and release that energy. And Anne-Marie's a healer too, so she can release that too. All right, so Amy, I'm adding stress and anxiety next to your name. Okay, Anne-Marie, that released. Rose Petals wants to work on liver and anger. So I'm going to see if we're going to do those together. Yes, we are. So I'm getting the energy of inconsistent. And so Vatha just talks about, or asked about, not really asked, she commented because she came up with something at age 9 and talking about so much sense that it's not hers, that it's coming from the outside. And just know that these energies can always come from the outside, especially from people that you're super close to, family members, relationships, even, work energies if you're close. Um, Things that are not yours can get stuck within you. So let me get an age for rose petals. So I'm getting age 19. So 18, 19, 20 rose petals. So let's go ahead and release that. So that did release. We're going to do the third healing pulse, but the last people on the list are getting, so if you haven't put down that you want to be worked on, do that now because we're almost done with the list. So I've got DGZ, Aaliyah, Nick, and Amy. So let's do our third healing pulse. And so with this, I want you to rub your hands together and then place your hands exactly where you want to receive the energy. Now, especially you people that have the physical, think about, do you need to change your hand position? Because sometimes with physical things will shift around. So like ascending, is it the same spot in your right shoulder or did it sort of shift a bit? And so place your hands exactly where you think it'll be best. And then allow my hands to sit on top of your hands. And just breathe in that healing energy. Allow it to go even deeper, helping you heal, opening up and allowing things to release, and making a difference. So breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And then again, if you do enjoy the different types of breath work, this is the perfect time to do that. Okay, that was the third healing pulse. Let me know how you did. So some people, the first healing pulse, maybe they feel a little something or a little nothing, because not everybody feels. I'm one of those that it took me a long time to feel things, and even today sometimes I don't always feel, especially if I'm distracted with life. But usually like the second healing pulse, you feel a little more, and especially when dealing with physical, things will shift and move and lessen. And then the third healing pulse, again, things will shift and move and lessen. And so pay attention. Okay. DGZ, a relationship with adult sons. I think I want to do this list again. So I'm getting the energy of injustice. So DGZ, I'm going to Colette, we're still doing individual healing. Feel free to put something on the list. So let me get an age for injustice. So I'm getting injustice around 26 DGZ. And so here's the interesting thing about families. So I don't know how old your son was when you were 26, if you had him or if you had him later. But energies and trapped emotions can be inherited. So if you experienced an injustice at 26 and he was not born yet, he could have inherited those negative energies. So let me just tune in a little bit more. This is not. He definitely has that. So we're just going to work on releasing. And so if you have healing in your background, please assist me in releasing the energy of injustice from the relationship. And if you don't have healing in your background, say a prayer, say a wish, tune into source and make a request. So let's remove injustice. So, and you definitely have this. So we're going to release it from you, but we're going to also release it from the relationship. Releasing injustice. Okay, so that released. All right, Aaliyah. Aaliyah, her hearing is lessening. So let's see. Let's see. So I'm getting the energy of an unhappy. Oh, excuse me. Let me get an age for Aaliyah and unhappy. Okay, like 29. So 28, 29, 30. Somehow that's playing a role. So let's go ahead and release that. So that did release. And so Rose Petals made a comment because it came up. The energy with her issue was inconsistent and the age was 19. And then she says her late teens were always changing. Father dying due to a brain tumor. What a horrible way to start your early 20s and moving many times. Wow, I'm so sorry. Okay. So, next we're going to work on Nick. Nick's got tummy troubles with stomach, bloating, digestive issues. So, something not fun for a young adult. So, let's see. I'm getting the energy of mocked. Let me get an age. So I'm getting this is like 16. So 15, 16, 17. So I'm wondering if he was mocked and sort of bullied almost. Let's get rid of that. That's horrible. So tuning in to energy of mocked, and we're going to release. That's horrible. So Mfatha, help him clear that. Okay. Yeah, because that energy is still with him. And it wouldn't hurt to do it again and have him do some have him visualize that the bullying is a physical thing inside him and imagine it shrinking until it's gone. Yeah, isn't that a horrible thing when people are bullied? It's just nasty. All right. So I missed a few. So Colette. So Colette says she ran into someone who used to be a friend. Or no, she kept running into someone who used to be a friend. So she politely said hello to her yesterday. And this former friend blocked her and was saying a lot of nasty stuff. So she wants to release it. Isn't that sad? Because you, especially when you keep running into each other, that's the universe saying, do something. All right. So we've got Amy and Colette. Left. So Amy wants to work on some stress and anxiety. So we'll do that. And then I think with Colette, we're going to also see, we're going to do a cord cutting. And so if any of you have a relationship with a person, with a habit, with something you want to stop the connection, we're going to do that. So if you've got something that you want to do that. But let me do Amy's first. So it's the energy of derided. And I think that's just someone being nasty to you is my thought. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever used the word derided. I think I've only read it in a book. So let me just make sure that deride means to laugh at or insult someone or someone contemptuously, often to make them appear ridiculous or unworthy of respect. And isn't that interesting? So we have the bullying and mocked, and Colette had the nasty friend who was deriding her. And then it comes up as a source for Amy's stress and anxiety. Let me get an age for you, Amy. Very interesting. I always like when things show synchronicity because it means it's important and to pay attention. And so this tells me that quite a few of you are dealing with nastiness. I just need an age for Amy. Around age 23. So I don't know if you went to college or if this was like a negative friend group or work group or family. But let's get rid of this. So we're going to tune in to feeling derided, releasing and removing. And so if others of you can relate to feeling derided, just imagine that this is releasing from you too. Okay, so that released. So Lisa has her relationship with her adult daughter needs healing. And it came up rage at 38. And so Lisa said her daughter was 13, and that's when the relationship started to struggle. Relationships started to struggle around age 13. So based on the ages, Lisa, I would say yes. However, when I ask, I get no. I wonder if there's some healing that needs to be done before. I usually call it inherited trauma. Needs to be worked on. And Fatha, tell him he's very welcome. Okay, just thinking about Lisa's situation. Yeah, sometimes things are very multi-layered, multifaceted on the whys. Very interesting because I always pay attention to patterns, and this is definitely a unique thing where all of you at the end have some similarities. Okay. All right. So those of you who are here and want to cut some cords, so follow along. And so basically, I want you to shut your eyes. We're going to call in your spiritual team, my spiritual team. I do like to call in Archangel Michael. And we're going to focus on the cord that you want to release. And so, like this, the reason why we're doing this is we're focusing on Colette, who has run into a former friend multiple times lately, but she's been pretty nasty, especially when Colette just said hi. And so that's the example I'm going to use is we're going to snip the cord between Colette and the nasty friend. So if you have someone else that things ended badly, but you still feel bad energy. I even have a friend that had a husband who stalked her as they were splitting and died. And somehow they were still corded with him being on the other side. And when the cord was snipped, she said she felt the end of the cord snap back and hit her chest. And it was, I had never heard of being corded from someone on the other side. So obviously he didn't go to the light, because if he had gone to the light, that wouldn't have happened. But sort of sometimes crazy things happen. And so I think part of this is just being open. And so with Colette, so we're going to snip the cord next to Colette first. And then Michael's doing this with his mighty sword of truth. And then we're going to snip the cord from the nasty friend. And we're going to take that cord. And sometimes I have it thrown to the central sun. Sometimes we burn it. Sometimes we just recycle it. So whatever feels best for you. And then I want you to think about where that cord was. And so I want you to put the hand on where that cord was. So the Colette, it was not heart, but it was up above, but not throat. So like somewhere in here. So I want you to put your hand here. And so anyone else that's doing this, we're going to send just a short healing pulse to where that cord was. Because this is sort of like a wound now that we just need to send healing to. And the nice thing about having your whole spiritual team here is it gets better even faster. Okay. All right. So how many of you tried that? Did you notice any changes? Do you notice a change now? And with this, some of you will feel it. Some of you, you'll notice a difference slowly. Part of it depends on how sensitive you are. But it can be quite powerful. Generally, the cord does not regrow unless you allow it, or there's something underhanded going on. So typically a cord doesn't regrow, but I've had some more evil type things that I think there were some contracts in the past that allowed them to record. But typically you don't record unless you allow it. So like say you were courted with an ex-husband and you got back together, so that would make sense. So a number of you are feeling lighter. Good. So let's do our final little exercise. So this is aura strengthening, and I really like it because it gives you a chance to play with your own energies, and especially as crazy as times are, it will help block you. Like I have a hard time going grocery shopping, so normally I don't go. I just order online and I go pick it up. But I don't do well going in places that are crowded because there's just people that are just sort of extreme. And so this exercise will help you. And so I want you to rub your hands together. You are using your own energies, or if you don't feel comfortable, you can use healing pulse energies, but start sending the energy out to your aura. Imagine your aura being thicker, more protective, and stronger, so that things can't get through as easily as they could before. And I also like to add a hint of reflectivity, although you don't want to go full mirror because you don't want people running into you. You don't want to be in car accidents. So a hint of reflectivity. So if someone is spewing negativity, that at least part of it bounces back to them. And now with your aura, so you're working on this outer shell of blocking these nasty energies. I also like filling up your aura with something good. Like, what do you need today? So, like Anne Marie, you could fill up your aura bubble with resilience. If you're feeling not protected, fill it up with feeling love and safety. If you're feeling the world is against you, fill it up with compassion and joy. Okay. So I think we did good tonight. All of us did. So some of you really liked the cord cutting. And sometimes I do it slightly different. But that's the main thing, is cutting it, calling in my team, and doing the healing afterwards of making sure that you're not really sore where that cord was. But yeah, I'm so glad you guys came. So next month, December 1st, which, let me see what day that is, a Monday. So I will be here Monday Central Time, and by then we'll have lost an hour. You guys are so very welcome. So if you do have questions about what I typically do in a regular session, my mini healings are, my goal is for them to be most helpful in the quickest amount of time so I can help as many people as show up. So glad you guys came. And I'm really hoping you guys have a good night. And I appreciate all your thanks and gratitude. So have a good night.